Yeah, the all season and OTA stuff is over. And I'm gonna tell you why. Change is coming in Berea quicker than people think. It's all easy and funny games to talk about. This is a trial and error year, and you trying to find this, that, and the third. But this week, we are already starting to see the leaves change on what's going on with the Cleveland Browns, just like fall is coming. I'm going to tell you why. Change is around the corner, and it's happening at an accelerated pace that nobody saw except your boy. We'll come back and talk about it right here on the fastest 30 minutes in sports. It's the Ultimate Browns. Welcome on into the fastest 30 minutes in sports. It's your boy G Bush right here with the Ultimate Browns. We got a great show planned for you today. Coming up, I didn't say it. Well, actually, I said it a while ago, but now people is actually starting to see how crazy it was for this 14 quarterback situation, this 4 quarterback musical chairs charade that the Cleveland Browns had. It stunted the rookies' growth and it stunted the veterans' growth. Mary Kay Cabot was on. I asked her myself, I said, listen, what's going on with the offense? And she has something very interesting to say about the quarterback competition and why she thinks the Browns are struggling because of it. We'll talk about that coming up here as well. It's time to move to Dillon Gabriel. He is next up on the list, on the contestant of who wants to be a millionaire, who wants to, they're spin at the bottle to figure out if the Cleveland Browns got a quarterback. I'll tell you why Sean King is spot on. He had one of the most concise, brilliant, just simple rhetoric as to why people that say you don't want to throw him out there till he's ready. You gotta be ready, G. You gotta be ready. Stop all that stuff. These dudes don't have no clue what they're talking about. Sean King broke it down eloquently. We'll put it on film and we'll show it to you coming up in this episode as well. But first and foremost, change is coming, just like the seasons. And let me tell you something. This is the reason why this is not a live. This is a video. I recorded this because I wanted to be concise and clear of how I presented this. And I wanted to be surgical with it. And I wanted to get to the point where I'm showing you some of the stuff that I was saying, pointing out before as you've been watching the Ultimate Browns. And it rings true today. When you go back to the summertime and you hear people talking about this is a year of trying to trial and error, figuring it out, and the Browns going to lose this, that, and the third, and Stefanski and Barry going to be here forever, and you know, with the quarterbacks in 26. The quarterbacks in 26. Little higher. The quarterbacks in 26. That sound good. That sound all fine and dandy. But this is the thing about football, and I've been telling you that forever. In the off season, that's Narnia. That is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. This is Lord of the Rings. This is fairy tale. You guys, we got to come up with stuff to talk about. We hanging around. We got to find out storylines in June and July and all of this stuff to get you to the football season. But something happens that's really strange in the football season, and it's actually not strange. It's what football is. You start to see guys play football, and you start to realize that no matter how much you try to build up certain people, that you try to narrative ball your way out of certain things, that when they get on that football field, they have to show and prove. And when they don't show and prove, there's no hiding from it. There's no excuses. There's no, you can't explain yourself out of it. They're going to have to live and die on what their results are on that football field. And when you watch the Baltimore Ravens game, when your score is 41-17, and it should have been 41-3, and the Baltimore Ravens looked like they came out there and was playing with you and toying with you around, then it gets difficult for any beat reporter, any journalist, anybody to stand behind you. You see, this is the way human nature works. Yes, great. You know, I watch, and I don't say political in terms of I'm saying something divisive that's a political of nature. I'm saying that I watch political, like I went to Buckeye Boys State, which is basically a simulated government, right? And we did that in high school, and I was in the Senate one year, and I was in the House of Representatives the other. So I intimately am interested in bills, laws, the way our government works, just on a regular basic level. And one thing that I always liked is this: when you're not in an election year, there is no incentive for you to be coming out doing nothing crazy. You ain't getting elected. You ain't getting primaried. What for? You gonna toe the party line. You might even say some controversial things, right? Because you understand that in the off season, which is your political climate, when you ain't on the ballot, or when you control multiple branches of government, there's no need for you to make no crazy moves, right? Because there's no skin in the game, right? It's just like when everybody is against something until they actually got to take that vote. And then your own party looking at you like, hey, you know which way you about to vote, right? Yeah, I thought so. You know why? That's why when people go around, it's an unofficial, they say we can't do that because we don't got the votes for it. You know why? Some people might be in a state where they're getting primary. Some people may got elections coming up. Some people can't afford to step out there on a bill that don't really deal with their levels of constituencies, right? My constituents at home gonna hold me accountable for that vote, and I can't call it right now. You ain't got the votes, right? But it's the same way in media. It's the same way when you dealing with the local media and the national media, right? House of Representatives, state senators, all that good stuff. On the national level, you dealing with the Senate. You dealing with God. That's a major branch. House of Representatives is local media, right? And the funny thing that happens is when you're in the House of Representatives, you got to deal with people on a day-to-day basis. Just like the local media has to deal with people talking about the games that happen each and every week. It's intimate to them. They watch their games on Sunday. They watch your team get the brakes beat off of them by their arch rivals. You're 0-2. Your offense looks lethargic. It looks like it's a JV playbook. You got a quarterback out there that's running in slow motion. You can't get people open, and you're getting your tail kicked week in and week out. What starts to happen is the local media is like this. I got to deal with these locally. I got to write articles and people got to read them. I got to get on Twitter. And you know what starts to happen? You become politically untouchable. You begin to distance yourself politically from certain bills and certain pieces of legislation that putting you in the crosshairs here. I'm putting my reputation out there. I'm putting my reputation out there. So now when I'm not going to get delusional. I'm not going to come out here and defend your play calling and who you're putting at quarterback, because it does me no good. In the season, everybody is up for election. So why am I going to stand beside Kevin Stefanski, stand behind the Cleveland Browns, because what they told me they wanted to do, the results is more popular. The results is more damning. The results of the wins and losses on Sunday have more impact than anything you can write in the offseason. And what you start to see is people slowly back away, slowly turn the tide in the way they look at you when you talk about the football team. Because why are they gonna stand in front of a moving train for you? At the end of the day, the goal is to, as we watch March Madness, is to win and survive. Like, look, I like you, Kevin. I like you, Andrew, but I got to still write articles if you're here or you're not here. And when those wins start to get few and far between and you lose 8 in a row, like we've lost 8. Shout out to my man Earl the Pearl. Let me go ahead and read this to you. He's one of the reasons as to why I am where I am with this situation. Right? Listen, this is his first. This is listen to the I'll give you his tweet first. I'll give you his tweet first. Earl the Pearl, shout out to him. He was on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show today. Shout out to the Ultimate 216. He says the Browns are now on an 8-game losing streak. It's the longest active losing streak in the league. In those 8 games, the offense is averaging 13.1 points per game. The last time the team put up 20 points was in a Week 13 loss versus the Broncos. They had 32 points that game. By the way, they lost to a rookie, too, and Bo Nix. The Browns' passing offense during this span has 236 yards per game, 10 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. And by the way, that comes with 2 veterans, right? That's during that stretch, the majority of the play came down to Jameis Winston and Joe Flacco. He goes on to say there's nothing absolutely creative or explosive about this Browns offense. Even with a young offensive mind and his new offensive coordinator, sometimes things are what they are. And I think when you take a look at this, now Earl is a diehard Cleveland Browns fan through and through. When you go back and check his timeline, he's talking about what we need to have more faith. He's been through and through a Cleveland Browns fan. But let me tell you how things change. Just like the seasons. Everybody's going to want a little bit of change, given the fact that what they're seeing on that football field, because it's exact, it's new, it's right in front of your face. And he does a tremendous job in this next video that we're going to show you. And he really eloquently points out why it is there are people that are diehard fans like himself that are finding it more and more difficult to figure out and to stand by the Cleveland Browns in this situation.
It's the same song and dance, and just like most fans, man, I'm getting tired of it. I feel like this. For up until the middle of last season, man, I was a Kevin Stefanski guy. I used to always come on this panel and talk about Kevin being a leader of men and how things like that galvanizes the troops and how things that don't show up on the football field matter. And it's like, man, to hell with all that BS, man. When the words start coming out about, certain players getting treated differently, or when we found out about the offensive coordinator calling the plays, the players found out at the same time. Yeah. It just seemed like to me like he compromised his credibility. And when you do that, it's hard to get that back. I was willing to give him a fair shot. Okay, clean slate. They brought you back. Maybe you've learned a lot over this 5-year tenure. Things is going to be different. You hire Tommy Rees, a young offensive mind, come from the college ranks. Okay, cool. This is going to help with the creativity of the offense. Outside of running a tougher camp than what you did last year, it's just the same old song and dance. The offense is stale. It's not creative. It lacks explosion. This offense under Kevin Stefanski has never ranked top 10 across the board in any statistic. And it just seems like he gets in front of the media. He get asked real questions. He never answer them. And then the fans always say, well, y'all don't hold him accountable and don't ask him anything. It's just like the wins is not there. The success is not there for us to keep going through the same thing. And I get it. Every year he's been here has been something. COVID, the Baker injury, the trade, the suspension, whatever. I get it. These the breaks. You're never going to have a perfect situation, man. Good coaches find ways to, get it done. It is hard to say watching this team be how they are, and I'm watching the Saints with Spencer Rattler score 20 points. But you're supposed to be like this guy, and then you're supposed to hire guys to come in and help make the situation better. And so it's like I don't have the same enthusiasm or optimism with this current regime. It sucks because I like continuity, but it is what it is. You've been here 6 years. You're supposed to be an offensive-minded coach. I can't keep making excuses for him, and I can't just keep resting on, I like Kevin as a person, so I think he should still be the Browns
Or
coach.
He won 2 Coach of the Year, which everybody brings
even
up all the time.
I don't even care about the Coach of the Year.
I don't care either.
I like him as a person, but eventually that's not enough.
And listen, we had to clip that. Listen, I'm going to keep it real. That's the most concise and succinct that I done heard Earl give a take on Kevin Stefanski and the Cleveland Browns maybe ever. And you know why he's that succinct is because he's actually now, when you fed up a little bit, your head is gone. Like the mental things that you do to put shackles that you don't want to, I don't want to jump off into that bag yet. It's too early to say this. Listen, when you get fed up, you crystal clear in the way you feel about it. And I couldn't have said it no better. You're offensive-minded coaches. The wins aren't there. Every time we talk about it is why this didn't happen, and this was against him, and this was against him. Come on, man. Come on. The excuses is wearing down. And I don't care what nobody say. the more and more Baker Mayfield play well, that makes you look crazy. It just do. Your ex is out here looking like a snack right now. You ever get in a relationship and you be like, man, you don't want your ex out there looking like with a supermodel waist. You ain't trying to see her driving a drop top, hair long, look like she been doing, her skin is glowing. You ain't trying to see none of that. You don't want to see no harm go to him. But you don't want to be out here doing an unemployment line. You out here eating ramen noodles and you 40 and she out here winning. Look, man, at some point in time, the excuses got to stop. Coming up next, I'm going to show you why it's just not Earl. This phenomenon about watching games and life comes at you quick. But we're going to get to this. Mary Kay, she has some things to say. And if Mary Kay got some things to say, you might be in trouble. We'll come back and talk about it. It's your boy G. Bush right here with the Ultimate Browns. Ever check your banking account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. When I started using Monarch Money, I realized that I had so much bad spending habits on food deliveries, and now I can budget smarter and save more. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off of your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDON for half off your first year. Welcome back to the fastest 30 minutes in sports. It's your boy G. Bush right here with the Ultimate Browns. Mary Kay Cabot was on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, and you know I had to put her in the hot seat. I had to ask, what's going on with this offense, Mary Kay? Because it's not looking good. And I've seen some bad offense. What say you?
You've seen a lot of offenses, and you've seen a lot of Cleveland Brown seasons. Where does this offense rank in terms of, it's like pulling teeth to get points. It's like watching paint. I mean, where does this rank? Because, I mean, I think over the last 8 games, they're averaging 13.5 points in this 8-game losing streak.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not there yet. It's absolutely not a fully functioning offense by any stretch of the imagination to this point. I think that they went into this season really believing that they were going to rely heavily on a robust running game, and that has not happened yet. Of course, it didn't go the way they wanted. Quinshawn didn't show up until last week, practiced twice, went out, and did some nice things in that game, but it's going to be that much harder against the Packers this week. Those guys shut down the Lions. They shut down the Commanders, and it's not going to be easy to run the ball. So I don't think that has helped. I think that they were going to play good defense this year, run the ball, and then try to get good, clean quarterback play. Only one of those 3 things has happened so far, and that's the really good defense. Now they've got to get the offense up and running. And so far, we haven't seen the timing and the consistency yet between Joe and Jerry Jeudy, Joe and Cedric Tillman. He was 2 of 7 targets in this past game. He was stumbling and falling down. So we just haven't seen that yet. And Joe, I don't think he had enough time on task in preseason with these guys. It happened in the final 2 weeks of camp, but that's certainly not enough. The 4-way quarterback competition, I think, hurt everyone. And you can't do that. I hope they learn their lesson that you can't conduct a quarterback competition in training camp. You've got to get that figured out before you get to camp. You have to know who your quarterback is.
Man, it's been a lot of years of Kevin Stefanski having to still try to figure things out. I don't know, but
yeah. When Mary Kay, when she get a little angst and feisty about the offense, you know what it's looking like. Because she's not the one to jump out here. We know I've been, sometimes I'll be mad. Mary Kay, come on now. You know that ain't right. Come on now. And she came out and said, listen, our offense is trash. It is. And this brings me to my other point. The Browns completely fumbled the bag on that quarterback competition. and she was correct in what she said. I know I'm agreeing. It hurt everybody. Everybody's growth was stunted during the quarterback competition. And it was a self-inflicted wound that I've been saying from the jump. The Cleveland Browns didn't have to come out and say anything about any quarterback competition when they drafted Shadeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel. They didn't have to say any of that. All they had to say is, we like these young guys. We're going to develop them. We'll see how it goes. But you know what they did? They thought they were smarter than everybody and jumped out here and was like, you know what? We're going to be bad this year. And I know what they did. See, the thing I've always told you is when you bad and you ain't good and you know you punting on seasons, what you try to do is get out there and show the illusion of action. See, the illusion of action is one of them things that people got to get. When you trying to put it out there like I'm showing this and showing that, and you putting it out there, that just means you bluffing, bro. You try to sell this fake hope that, oh, we might really be putting forth, we might start a rookie. You gonna drum up energy, you gonna drum up some jersey sales. And like I said, I went out there and I said, bro, this ain't even a quarterback competition. This is a ruse. They got Shadeur Sanders throwing the trash cans. How is it a quarterback competition and everybody ain't even getting first team reps? And then you fumble the bag again by saying, look, man, we're going to go get Kenny Pickett. You give him all the OTA first team reps. You give about most of the majority of reps in the first two weeks. And then you trade him for what you traded for him for. Like you got a 5th round pick back. How is that moving? How are you Magneto? You're not Charles Xavier. Well, how are you? Why do they think that they are metallics? Like they just move and think. Is this Dune? Do you have prescience? Have you guys have your own personal use of the spice melange? You just see I don't understand it, man. Like you moved him for a 5th round pick, but then you wasted all your reps on him. And then Mary Kay said it best right there. Joe out here looking rusty with these dudes. Guys is falling. The timing ain't right. Maybe because Joe didn't get no reps and then played 2 weeks before the season started like it was going to be great. And you know what? And to Joe's defense, Joe kept telling him, I don't know about all that noise y'all talking about. I'm 41 years old. I don't need the reps. I sure as heck do want the reps. I want to get the reps. So because you wanted to get smart, you decided you wanted to have a 4-way competition and didn't nobody win. Not the players, not the offense, not the rookies, not Shadeur Sanders, not Dillon Gabriel. Because right now, when we ask, is Dillon Gabriel going into the game because Joe Flacco was ineffective, then they tell them, oh, he's not ready yet. How he not ready? If you made him the backup quarterback, the backup quarterback has to be ready to go at a moment's drop. Adam the Bull said that today. How is he not ready? If you this is the second time you've done that. If you're going to elevate DTR to your backup quarterback, he better be ready to go. He has to be prepared. He's not. They're telling guys day of stuff. This is the stuff I'm talking about, Kevin Stefanski, right? You Dillon Gabriel, you didn't give him, you gave him some reps during their OTA practices and whatever the case may be. But now you're saying we got to wait 5 weeks, 5-6 weeks to figure out whether or not he could play or not. He got to get ready. The time to get ready is in preseason OTAs. Spring. That's when you get ready. You don't use regular season games to get ready. Like the stuff that they're preaching and the stuff that they got is backwards, is you know what. And it's showing every single week. Because guess what? You said you ran a tougher camp. You did, right? But you got DeJuan Jones and Denzel Ward dealing with cramps. It ain't even that hot out here. It ain't 90. It's not 90 degrees. You having hydration problems? High schoolers don't have hydration problems. Are you drinking enough? Are you monitoring? Guys are supposed to be getting hydrated on Tuesday, right now. You can't, every Division I athlete, every JV athlete, every high school freshman understands that once the season starts, it's your job to hydrate. These guys got trainers. These guys take body monitors. They wear vests that tell them exactly how much water they need to be consuming. And you got guys the first week of practice talking, first, this is the second game. They ain't been through a season. Talk about DeJuan Jones and Heat and Denzel Ward cramping up. Come on, man. Come on, man. That's Bush League stuff. This is not a serious organization if that's what's happening. You can't win no football games doing that. And so, look, this is game 2. For all those people that thought it ain't even October yet. And Mary Kay like, oh, bro, this is looking nasty. When Mary Kay she ain't even, when she in September ain't jumping in front of the bus. Come on, Kevin. But I'm going to give you another one. I gave you the local, right? We doing this thing politically, right? Mary Kay's House of Representatives. She's dealing with the constituents at home in the state of Ohio. Well, Sean King is a national guy. Let me tell you what he said when it came to what the heck are the Cleveland Browns doing with this quarterback situation. I thought he was spot on as well. Everybody had a great show today. We'll come back and talk about it right here on The Ultimate Browns. Let's talk about it. Listen, let's get to it, man. Ultimate Browns, well, you see what it is right now. G. Bush ready to go, rocking and rolling on a Tuesday. We ready to go right back at it. This is the place you want to get all the news and updates for the Browns. We ready to go and get it done. Shout out to Earl the Pearl too as well. Ultimate 216. He's doing some numbers over there. Great numbers this summer. Shout out to him, Earl the Pearl, Ultimate 216. Make sure you check that out. And of course, we ain't done. G. Bush do double, triple duty. It's the Barbershop. We just dropped back again. Barbershop was cooking last week. If you haven't checked it out, 9 a.m. 9 a.m. is where you can find the Barbershop. We appreciate you. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And the only place you can get all of these shows is right here on the UCSS Network. Welcome back to the fastest 30 minutes in all of sports. Is your boy G. Bush right here with the Ultimate Browns. We've heard from Earl the Pearl, which is the fan on the local level. He's in the city, right? He's your city rep. He out in the city hall talking about the Browns. We're working with the political theme right here. Mary Kay, House of Representatives. He's delivering all of the latest news and notes for the Cleveland Browns on a local level. Now we got Sean King, national guy. He don't quite understand it either. There's a lot of people that say all the time, he's not ready to go. Don't ruin the guy. Don't ruin a person's career. And I agree. I couldn't wholeheartedly believe with this too. People sit here and say that stuff is because there's so many cliches and overused terms that really don't describe what the game of football really is. Sean King puts it in perspective as a guy who's a former offensive coordinator, as a guy who's been a quarterback in the league. He understands that you just don't wake up one day and decide to know what's going on with this football team. He tells it like it is. He says, listen, this is why the Cleveland Browns got a problem and why they should be playing the young guys.
Your perspective as a former offensive coordinator and play caller. She said specifically, which I agree, the quarterback competition stunted some growth. Now, when you have Joe Flacco and you give him Pickett the majority of the reps, and then you jettison Pickett off and he ain't on the roster, then the two guys, the young guys, don't get reps or not even throwing the guys, and then you end up with Joe Flacco kind of, playing a little bit the last part of the preseason, and now it looks like, well, the receivers ain't on the same page, timing is wrong. How much time do you believe it takes for a guy to get ready in the preseason and play football games? And do you think the Browns fumbled the bag on a quarterback competition that was a fake quarterback? It was fake news.
Well, G. Bush, you are officially my spirit animal because I was going to actually piggyback on that point that Mary Kay made. Shout out to Mary Kay, one of the best in the business, by the way. She said, and I think I'm quoting her correctly, Hopefully, Coach Stefanski and the Browns learn that you can't have a 4-person quarterback competition. I'm going to contextually align that with my opinion last week. For those that didn't watch, that aren't on social media, you should be. Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, one of the best shows in the country. I said they should move away from Joe Flacco, not because I think Flacco was not capable on some levels, but because I think the ceiling is so low this season for the Browns. They need to find out what they have in Dillon Gabriel and Shadeur Sanders. You asked me as a coordinator, the reason I would never have a 4-man competition if we've only got 12 plays a team in practice. How in the hell do I fairly divide up 12 reps? Thinking that 4 or 5 of them are run plays anyway. Now I don't get a chance to really see what I have. What am I really evaluating? That's what they're doing now. They're not going to win this year because they're not that good. So you might as well get a large sample size of Dillon Gabriel and Shadeur Sanders so at the end of the year, you can better evaluate what you have. You might not have what you think is a franchise quarterback, but you might have what you think is a very good safety net as a backup. You might come away thinking, you know what, we got a franchise quarterback. We can look in other directions and how to build a team. But they've got to find out. And you're not going to find out with both of those guys sitting on the sideline for the majority of the season.
Sean, I completely agree with you. I would play Dillon Gabriel this week, but they won't, unfortunately. What would you say to the people, and this drives me crazy, I'm curious your take on this. What would you say to the people who say, he's not ready yet? This could ruin his career because the Packers have a good defense. What would you say to those people?
So this is all about leadership, guidance, and expectation, right? And she also talked about Stefanski being kind of colorless, you know, in his post-pre, during the week interview sessions. This is where I think he has to come out and be the leader of the organization and say, we're not giving up on the season, but we have 2 talented young quarterbacks that we want to get experience. We want to find out what they're capable of handling from a success standpoint, from a failure standpoint. We're not as worried about how they're playing versus Green Bay and Detroit the next 2 weeks. We want to see, are they playing better as we get into December with Chicago and Buffalo. That's what playing these guys early is about. Not going out there with the expectation that Dillon Gabriel is going to become the next reincarnation of Steve Young, or that Shadeur Sanders is going to become like the next reincarnation of Legendary. Like he invented that himself. You just want to start the process of them getting better. Right? You want to start the process of them getting better. And if you're honest with your fan base, you're honest with your locker room, they'll embrace that.
Right.
Listen, we got to rally around these guys. One of these guys could be the future of this organization, but they've got to play them to find out. You're not going to find out them standing on the sideline. And as long as they're standing on the sideline, what could possibly happen outside of Joe Flacco getting injured that would make you transition from they're not ready now to they are ready in 4 weeks?
Dang, that was
Damn
clip
right.
that.
Damn right.
I'm gonna use that. That is the greatest. Them talking points is dead.
Let's
I got
go.
that on repeat.
Yeah, we got that on repeat. And I told him I was going to use that. And I did clip that. And I really put it in this because that is exactly what needs to go down. See, the problem is you guys think y'all don't understand what true leadership is. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people in life. You got less than 5% of people that's running around here that are true born leaders. True born leaders that can lead people, that can lead them to a promised land, that can inspire them, that can instill something in them they didn't even know they had. But the problem is this. Y'all be running around thinking because somebody is conservative, close to the vest, and won't tell you how they feel, that that's a good trait. No, it ain't. It's not a good trait because you don't never know. People can't read what you think because you say the same thing every time. And what happens when it's monotone? What happens when it's the same thing? It's the same conversation. It's the same level. It ain't no up, ain't no down. I'm not mad. It's the same even keel stuff. That even keel stuff don't work on everybody, bro. It don't work on everybody. And Sean said something that was important. If you are honest with people, we talk about politics, right? When people are honest, no matter if you agree with them or you don't agree with them, people will have an affinity to giving you the benefit of the doubt. Because more than anything, people can respect, even if rightly or wrongly, right? It's something else to be said about a person that's unapologetic about who they are and what they stand for, right? So when you're Kevin Stefanski and you go and you say, look, well, what is he going to tell the veterans in the locker room? You don't think they understand what it is? I go to Joe Flacco. Hey, listen, here's how we're going to have this conversation. Joe, you're an adult. You've been in this league a long time. Let me tell you how this thing going to work this year. We're going to roll with you until you don't play well. When you don't play well, I just want you to know you're going to come sit by me. How long you in the game is dictated about how well you play. It could be 1 game. It could be 3 games. I'm just telling you honestly, this is how it is. Because it's my responsibility to look toward the long-term value of the organization. And long-term, we know that's not what we're doing here. But we're going to give you the opportunity. We're not dumb. If you want to come out and light it up, we're going to keep playing you, right? Hey, Miles Garrett, let me talk to you real quick. Listen, we really can't trade you like that. But what we're going to do is we're going to make it worth your while. We're going to make you the highest paid defensive player in the game, right? We're not going to kill you. We're not going to work you too hard. Listen, at the end of the day, what I want you to do, yeah, you're working to get into the Hall of Fame. We understand that. But here's what I'm going to tell you. We got 2 young guys. I need your help. See, that's the thing. When you're a leader and you ask for somebody's help, that is something to be said about that. Hey, Miles, I need your help. Guys look up to you, and it's going to be a tough uphill battle. I know you up for the challenge, right? Joe's going to play a little bit, but until Joe play and when it get nasty, we going to go to some of these young guys. I need you to put your arm around them. I need you to make sure that the rest of the guys still pull the line. I need you to make sure that when guys don't want to practice, you ready to go. And you tell them, no, we ain't about to do that. I need you to instill some faith into these young dudes. Right? Great. Awesome. You go to your coaching staff. Hey, Jim, let me talk to you, Jim. Listen, I know we're going to be tough for some points. We're going to be tough for some points this year. What I want you to do, Jim, let it all hang out. Your game plan is your game plan over there. If you got to be aggressive, be aggressive. Listen, if you miss, if we going to go down, we're going to go down with you pulling the trigger and being aggressive on it. If it means blitzing, if it means getting creative, if it means being a mad scientist, do it. But I want you to keep those guys over there together. I want you to motivate them. You got free reign to create and motivate them the way you want to motivate. Boom. You go to Andrew Berry. Hey, Andrew, let's talk about this. Our job, we're not getting up out of here alive if we got to show something this year. And I know we can go out here and we can get Kenny Pickett and we can get Joe Flacco and we can do some of those things, but that is not going to guarantee us our job. We got to be, I promise you, we're going to be aggressive with the young kids, because if we hit on the young kids, we can write our own ticket. But if we come out here playing it conservative and think we're going to last this season, we won't last that way. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that we get stuff around them in terms of weapons, in terms of protection, so that we can do some things and we can give them the best chance to succeed. If we empty out whatever we have in a repertoire, and as long as we doing it in a way that we put a something on the field where we say we can show some promise, I don't have a problem going to the ownership and D and Jimmy and saying, listen, this is what we try to do. And at least if we do that, I went down swinging my way. Hey, Tommy, let me come talk to you, Tommy. Hey, listen, I know I'm the head coach. Here's what we want to do. You got these young guys. Those young guys have played in non-traditional offense at Oregon and with throwing the ball and doing some things with Shadeur Sanders. I want you behind the scenes. I want you putting together a package that'll work specifically for each of them. When those guys get in, you're going to be intricate a part of what we're trying to do and getting them comfortable. It may not be traditional drop back Joe stuff and Pickett stuff. It may be a little something different, but I want you working with them on 2 tracks. We got 1 track where we gonna prepare Joe and some of the guys, but I want you working behind the scenes to get what's best for these 2 guys to make and show and prove that they get the best foot forward. Right. And as this thing moves along, I'm going to be giving you more on your plate. I think you can handle it. You've done it. You've done it in Alabama. See, when you talk and you preparing people for what's coming up, you could do some things. You can imagine, you can give responsibilities. But when you're talking about that milquetoast stuff and we got to get better, we just got to coach it up better, that ain't it. When you publicly say to somebody, we're going to give Tommy that responsibility, and I think he's going to do a damn good job of getting the young guys ready. You know what Tommy Reed's going to do when he go home? He about to burn that midnight oil because he know you publicly said, I got trust in you. But that's emotional. That's the problem with y'all out there. A lot of y'all sit back up here and want to talk and move around like y'all know what the game is. You can't talk the game and feel the game without no emotion. You got to be able to tell somebody something that they going to believe it. That game is the hardest game in the world to play. Your body hurt. You're doing long hours. You ain't seeing your family. You tired. You ain't got a contract. They talk about they ain't paying you no 5th year. And you still got to go out there and play some of the best people in the universe at this game that's savage-like. But you want to talk about you're too emotional. Man, you can't do this without being emotion. Devoid of emotion, this game is impossible. And Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry, that emotion ain't coming out them calculators, abacuses. And as you can see, when you don't inspire people, pretty soon the play is uninspiring. Pretty soon, I can't help but notice a lot of people that went to Alabama was motivated on a high level. Jerry Jeudy, Jed Wills. When you went to Alabama, that wasn't allowed. The Cleveland Browns got change coming. Just like the fall and the leaves, change is coming. It is up to them how deep that change is. It could be a change at quarterback. It could be a change at head coach. It could be a change at general manager. It could be changing the philosophy of the organization. Because if they think that they can hold on to 2 first-round draft picks and think that that's going to hold the fan base, the local media and the national media in place while they lose games, cash checks and go back and do it again, it's not going to work. It ain't even working right now in this week 2. You ain't even got to a bye week. That's how quickly life changes when you actually have to stand on performance, wins, and losses. This is not the offseason. And this has been your episode of The Ultimate Browns. This is your boy G Bush. You know, if you want the straight talk, if you want the fresh cut on sports, I keep the barbershop lights on. And you know, as always, I give you right straight from the hip how I feel. But I bring the receipts though too. As always, I can talk crap about the Browns. I'd be mad about them. But if they won on Sunday, I'd be happy and I come back and tell you. As always, you have a great rest of your week. And it's always, no matter how bad I get, it's always go Browns.